I wonder if that means, oh, huh, well, that, I think that's good. Sorry, folks on Facebook and YouTube. There is ineptness among the roadies here. Jim Dalton, I see you're alive again this morning. That's good. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya. Now I'm stuck. So, you never know. You just don't know about things. That's good. Okay.
Bill just asked us to all unmute.
No, hang on. Not unmute, mute.
No, but that's right.
That should be done now. There. What power. Well, for 35 years, every morning the rabbi got up at exactly the same time, 6 o'clock. He left his house at 6:30 exactly, crossed the square and went to the synagogue. Day after day, week after week, month after month. The Cossack watched him. And there came a day when the rabbi got up at exactly 6 o'clock, left his house at 6:30, and the Cossack rode up to him on his horse and said, "Rebbe, where are you going?" And the rabbi said, "Don't know." And this really ticked off the Cossack. He said, "What do you mean you don't know? For 35 years I have been watching. Every day you do this like clockwork. You must be up to no good." So he grabbed him and dragged him off to the jail. And he pushed him into the jail cell, and he went backwards and hit the wall and landed on the little bed that was there. And then the rabbi said, "See, you just never know." And that's the way it is. One morning you wake up with a brain tumor. And today the baby's born, and tomorrow grandma dies, and COVID-19 comes, or you got all the switches set on everything, and then it turns out they're not set right. This life is utterly contingent. It is impermanent. It is unpredictable. It's part of what makes it so interesting, and it wouldn't be alive without that. But to really let that in, to let that truth in, then we're a little bit less. We feel less singled out or something, less hard done by when things turn out to not go right. And so we have this opportunity now to do some sitting together, to land, to let the eyes be open or closed, and to observe for a while how utterly unpredictable life is. To observe the places in the body where there is warmth and coolness. To notice where there are pleasant sensations and unpleasant sensations. To notice the sounds that come and how unpredictable they are. Notice how alive this body is. And while we can't observe awareness directly, there is a tacit knowing, a tacit understanding that here are the sensations, perhaps, of breathing, and there's knowing it. And we can be aware of this knowing. You can notice how each breath has its moment of beginning. It's rising to fullness. Its decline. And its vanishing. The world is a magical display in consciousness. Thoughts appear out of nowhere. Mood appears out of nowhere. The breath exists and then doesn't. Sometimes the mind turns toward wandering and is noticed immediately. Other times it's gone for 5 minutes. We sit here as observers of life. Sometimes there is discomfort or outright pain. Those moments provide a golden opportunity to relinquish attending to the breath and turn directly, full-heartedly into the sensations that we call pain. Notice if there's any suffering affiliated with the pain. Is the pain and suffering the same thing? Are they the same thing? As the mind stabilizes and as mindfulness and concentration strengthen, you'll come to be able to see how the pain and the suffering are closely related, but they are not the same thing. The suffering arises from resistance to the pain, creating a self with a story about pain. And it's quite possible, if we bear the suffering like a wagon bears a load, it's quite possible to discover that the suffering that arises with pain is somewhat or totally optional. We really can grow up psychologically, spiritually, emotionally. And we can meet life on its own terms. Coming home to the fact of a body that sits here and the awareness that knows it. if there is significant disturbance in the mind, remember the tool of the 5 hindrances. Is this disturbance rooted in desire, in craving, in wanting? Or its opposite? Is this disturbance of the mind rooted in aversion or disliking or rejection somehow? Is it rooted in restlessness, agitation, worry, planning, remorse? Is this agitation rooted in sloth and torpor, dullness, sleepiness? Or perhaps is it rooted in doubt, conflicting belief systems, uncertainty whether I should or want to be doing this now? Or is this disturbance relying upon an emotion? We cultivate moment by moment the capacity to witness these mental phenomena as we do weather. Nothing to fight with, simply to notice. Resting in the present moment while the world of our life unfolds. Approaching each moment with a quality of curiosity. What's happening now? Are there sounds? Are there thoughts? Is there emotion? How intimate can I become with the breathing? Can I notice how one breath is different from the other? Are they different one from another? Awakening from wandering minds. Notice if there's judgment, any lashing of oneself. I should be able to control my mind better. It's all really quite matter of fact. Mind wanders. Awakening occurs, returning to breathing occurs, mind wanders, mind obsesses, mind falls asleep. It's all just so utterly normal. And we enter at the present moment and we shape a destiny for ourselves because we can have some modicum of choice of what happens when awakening from a wandering mind. And please now reflect for a moment on the preciousness of your life. Your one wild and precious life. Feel the aliveness that is you. Bring the awareness into the hands, into the arms and shoulders, and then into the face. Paying attention non-judgmentally is loving. It is opening to the present moment with full acceptance. And please now bring awareness into the eyes. Notice what it takes to let your eyes open and let them open. And then there's seeing. Seeing. And then maybe stretching. Notice what your body wants. Ooh. it occurred to me last night I haven't emphasized one aspect of practice in quite some time. Most people, even years after they start meditating regularly, even harbor a belief that in order for the meditation to count or be good, the wandering mind must stop. That I shouldn't be anxious anymore, or I shouldn't, etc., etc. And while it is desirable, and it does happen, and particularly over time, it does happen that the mind can be silent and profoundly concentrated as well. To have the belief that it's not, that I'm not doing it right, or certainly that I should punish myself because my mind is wandering or because I'm worrying, that's just an extra layer of violence added in. And so there's the Buddha used this simile or metaphor that be like a person at the gate to a village or a city, and you just watch what comes and goes. You don't judge, you're not taxing it, you're just noticing, oh, this is what's happening, this is what's happening. And that quality of non-judgmental awareness actually will, over time, result in the mind getting quieter and quieter and quieter, as well as the development of some concentration and mindfulness to notice when it's wandering. So have mercy on yourself. Make no war. War doesn't work out in the world, and it doesn't work inside. So that's what I wanted to say this morning, and also just my delight in being able to be here with you. Gary Sanders is offering a retreat from 10 to 3 tomorrow. You can find it on the PIMC website, portlandinsight.org. So, with that, I'm going to invite you to share your joys and sorrows, your discoveries and challenges with this time of COVID-19. So if you want to speak, please just unmute yourself. I think you can do that by pressing the space bar.
Hi.
Stephanie.
Stephanie, yeah.
Hello, Mom.
Yes. Hooligans behind. So I had a question. I've been having a hard time waking up in the middle of the night, and then my brain starts going, and then I can't go back to sleep, and that hasn't been a problem in a long time. And that doesn't happen to me during the day because I'm really good at not letting my brain, or just catching it and being, but at night it seems to just, and then I'm up for hours. So I don't know.
Sit. Get up and sit.
Get up and sit? Okay, all right.
No electronics, no lights. Get up and sit, and then when you start getting into sloth and torpor, go back to bed. But
I should just get up and sit.
Get up and sit. And if you stay lying down, you'll go unconscious, and you'll keep coming up. But whatever it is, the anxiety is, it'll come to the surface, and then there won't be enough mindfulness to see it.
Yes, that's the problem. Yeah.
It's really hard to get up and sit, but it's very functional.
What I should do. Okay, thank you.
Or do walking meditation.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay.
Pick a 10 or 20 foot long spot and just walk back and forth very mindfully. When I was with Ruth Dennison in the last year of her life, I slept in the living room, and often in the night I would wake up, and there she would be with her walker going back and forth in the dining room.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. That does really help.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go out?
You know, if we think about it, sleep is very weird. we we have this nice, hopefully a nice soft spot we go to, and then we disappear for hours, and then we reappear. Where do we go? What is going on? And we need it, right? It's totally crucial for us. I self-diagnosed my sleep problems back 5 months, 6 months ago, and was diagnosed with moderate to severe sleep apnea. And so I started sleeping with a machine, and what a difference. It's stunning. That I was having between 30 and 40 cessations of breathing per hour. And now it's 5, 4, and a totally different experience.
Hey, Robert and Songa.
It's Christy. Hello, Christy.
I was so, I'm going to change my audio just for a second. I was so restless today. Turned my hand, I spilt my coffee. With cream in it on the carpet. And I look up and the squirrel's on my feeder, and I tell the dog to get out and get out. Just so much. But my sleep's been interrupted because, friends, I've started perimenopause.
You've what? I
get perimenopause now.
Oh.
I've been talking about it for 10 years. I've been nervous about it, you know.
Uh-huh.
As a girl, like, oh, is this going to change me? Am I going to lose my sexuality? That's been a fear. But it's come on during this month of COVID and time to meditate and not be, I don't know, just be more at peace with it. But I'm waking up a couple times a night where my skin is sweaty and the inside is a furnace. It's the oddest feeling. And I've been nervous about this medical change for seriously 10 years. I've been nervous about it. And would it really change me? What would happen? I just thought my attractiveness would disappear. But I think because I'm meditating and just looking at my emotions and saying, oh, that's, judgment. Mindfulness is helping me a lot with this, and it's I'm okay. I think I'm okay. I'm surprised. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Robert, this is Lauren.
Hi,
And,
Lauren.
Good morning. I want to thank everybody for bringing up insomnia, because that's what's up for me this morning. And Stephanie, when you asked the question about meditation, my mind kind of wandered, Robert, when you were saying why meditation doesn't work when I'm trying to fall asleep if I'm lying down. And I just wondered if you could repeat it.
If you were wearing a device that measured your brainwaves, lying in bed, I'm trying to go to sleep, it would show that you are in fact falling into a light sleep quite frequently. It doesn't feel like that. You think I didn't sleep for a second, but in fact you've been dropping into sleep and out of sleep. And if there's something brewing coming out of the unconscious, then as soon as mindfulness isn't there, boom, it comes up, and then your body gets into fight flight, and you get a little excitatory chemistry, and then you're awake again, and then you go back and forth. And so, however, if you sit, go to your meditation spot or sit up in bed, then the chances of staying mindful are much higher. And then whatever it is that needs to come through and process itself does so. And then when you start falling into really the nods, then just slide back into bed. It's hard to do because it's like, damn it, I don't want to get out of bed. I want to just go to sleep. It's cold and then there's, for many people, they get up and then they're on their phone, and then you get light in your eyes, and then it's pointless. It doesn't work. So to get up and sit, and whatever the case, sitting is very restful.
Thank you for that clarification.
I've helped a lot of people over the years with that. Many, dozens and dozens of people that discovered it worked. And it's hard, and it's not a panacea.
Is there mindful sleeping?
Well, yes, one can be wide awake and sleep. I've had that experience a few times on retreat, and the Tibetans make a big practice of that. They call it lucid dreaming. Yeah.
Hey, Robert. I wanted to say that letter from your Sangha sister that you read this morning was one of the most amazing things I've ever heard. It really blew me away. And I don't know if you would be inclined to post that anywhere, but I'd love to have the chance to read that again.
I think I can't post it. I would need to get her permission, I think, to post it. So.
I hope you will read it again.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, and I forgot to add that it made all of my cares and woes and findings. It illuminated how penny-ante they are.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Right.
Hello, this is Danielle.
Hello, Danielle.
Good morning. I really appreciated when you talked about pain and suffering this morning. It was really helpful. I haven't been attending for the past week. I've had an attack of gout for the first time in my life.
Gout.
Gout.
Oh dear.
In my baby toe. It was as painful as childbirth, I swear.
No kidding.
So I was really struggling and feeling sorry for myself. And it's just a very little thing, but it's so painful.
Yeah.
So so I was really very appreciated to hear the suffering, the pain, and the suffering is resistance to pain. Anyway, so that was a good reminder.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is it gone now, the gout?
Yeah, it's much better. I'm taking prednisone. Prednisone is making me feel weird, but it's only for a week.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, interesting.
You know, it is notable that the very first thing the Buddha taught, I mean, that first sermon was the Four Noble Truths, and there is suffering. There's suffering. There's a cause of suffering, and there's an end to suffering, and there's a path to the end of suffering. And then the whole rest of his lifetime, he was reiterating that first thing.
I did think about that a lot. When I had lots of pain.
Yeah.
So that was helpful too.
The problem is, it doesn't take away the pain. It can take away the suffering, but the damn pain will still be there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then that opens our heart, right, to realize how much pain there is in the world. It's just monumental. Yeah. Thanks. I'm glad it's passing. Hooray for Western medicine.
That's great.
Good morning, Robert. I was wondering if, there's some people that I connect with, and it's a Christian group, but the minister is very open-minded to all kinds of mystical things and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
And I'm finding that even though she has interest, she serves her congregation. And the more I practice, the less I have to say about all of everything, really. And if I open my mouth and say something that's related to the concepts of consciousness, I feel like I'm, in a foreign country. And I'm sort of at the point where I feel like I need to just observe and not, take what I can use and leave the rest. But engaging in the sort of, it's like analysis of spiritual practices and Bible studies. I just can't do it. I can't do it anymore. And I just realized I'm attempting to do something doesn't work, and that's a little bit difficult for me out here in the town I'm in, because there is no alternative, really.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there's my story.
Thank you. Thank you. As soon as the sun hits my tent, the radiant energy from this side of it is just amazing. It's really, wow. Sunshine. Well, we just turned 8 o'clock. Time to go soon. Anybody sitting with something, please share if you feel like it.
Yeah, Robert, I wanted to share that when you were reading the letter.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Emily.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey. When you, at the very end of the letter you were reading this morning, I kind of came in the middle of you reading it, so I was sort of catching up on what we were talking about. But when the daughter mentioned those 2 weeks of like, worry, anxiety, imagining, terror,
Right.
it definitely took me to like the first, I would say, 3 weeks of this quarantine time, for distancing, where I imagined every possible scenario, both for my family and for myself, and really, I was here every morning meditating, and just the terror that I felt, coming and going throughout the day, that really has gone away. But now I'm looking back at that time, and I'm noticing, like, when you read that, I was like, oh, I'm holding a bit of judgment I'm judging myself in that, like, wow, you really thought you were gonna die? Like, I don't know. So it's just an interesting observation that I haven't, that I hadn't articulated yet. So that was helpful to see that I'm somewhat holding myself in a bit of judgment for overreacting. But I know that anxiety is one of the things that I experience, and so I can shift my relationship to that with awareness. So
it's quite a trap to be judgmental of ourselves for being who we were in the past. You should have been as wise about it at the beginning as you are now after having all the experience. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. There's a saying I think I remember from AA. No, I forget, but it's about we spend a lot of time and energy wishing for a different past. I should have been a different person in the past, and my parents should have been different, and it's such a waste, because oddly enough, the past is really over. Yeah, though I must say, I share with you, I've become more sanguine about the COVID-19. I mean, it's still monstrous and so on, but when I go to the grocery store, I don't have the sense that this is it, I have to be super. I mean, I'm careful, but it's not like it's lurking behind every corner. So yeah, thank you for sharing. Well, that provoke anything, anybody else, and then we'll end.
Robert, it's Linnell.
Linnell, hello.
It did provoke just one thought that I've been working with quite a bit about forgiveness, and the comment you made about a big part of forgiveness is giving up completely on having a different past.
That's the one, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's very helpful, and I've been sharing it with quite some people. Hopefully my learnings are being passed on to other people too.
Yeah. All right, dear ones. I'm going to the place of unmuting. Have a lovely day. May the suffering be at a dull roar for you, and may there be enough mindfulness and concentration to surf on it rather than drown. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yay.
Bye, Robert. Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye bye. Have a lovely day.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So long.
Have a good day.
Goodbye, dear friends on Facebook and YouTube.
Thank you, Robert.
Goodbye. Thank you.